segment, and I'm so pleased to be here with our Executive Director, Chandra Kumar. Hello, Chandra.
Hello, Fran. Thank you for having us.
Well, it's always a pleasure, and what's a big pleasure is that you brought two guests along that are very deserving employees here.
Yes.
Why don't you introduce them?
Oh, absolutely. First of all, thank you for having us today, but I get the special privilege this month of celebrating for the month of January 2 of our Shining Stars. Our Shining Star program is a program that is part of recognition that the staff, residents, visitors can nominate employees for going above and beyond. And it's always such a tough decision when we sit down as an executive team to decide on who's going to be the shining star, because we have so many shining stars, and we get nominations on a regular basis. We can always ask for more nominations because there's a lot of things that people may not think to put in, but anything, we'll take a look at it. We want to know and we want to hear from everyone. But today, as I said, we were going through all of the nominations and we're like, okay, these two are just so wonderful. We have so many wonderful stories, but we could not decide on just one. So that's why we have two today.
So you had a tie.
We did. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So here I have with me today is Krina, who's there in the white, and then Faye, who is
Krina Romero.
Yes, Krina Romero, and Faye White, who is to the left of me.
Faye.
Now, Krina has been here since 2014. She works in the medical center, and is an office assistant there, medical office assistant. Faye is a communications specialist. Now, Faye has been here since probably pretty close to when the first bricks were laid, right? She's been here since
I've been here 15 years, and she was here already when I came.
When you got here, right. So since 1999, correct?
That's a year after our opening.
A year after our opening. So she has seen the buildings go up and is a great historian. So I'm going to start with Krina just to let you know what the comments were. So Krina is a very caring and is respectful to all residents. This person says, I watched as she offered to help a resident fill out paperwork and treated her with such kindness while she herself was busy on the phone, which is typical, busy on the phone, greeting patients, getting them signed in as they arrived. In another instance, a resident was worried about her missed appointment, and Krina encouraged the resident to sit down and told her, she would check with the doctors. After several minutes, she, quietly walked around the reception desk and went to this worried resident and really leaned in and looked directly at her and said, really reassured her that her appointment was for that day. She's always very pleasant and always very customer focused, and she really is a true asset to the medical center in Green Spring. And I see, if you think about this past year, there was a time where she was alone at that desk and really juggling and doing a phenomenal job. So we're really grateful that you're here with us and that you were in that capacity to serve our residents. And most of all, because you spend the time to talk to the resident, to reassure them, and specifically when they're coming into the medical center, they may not be feeling well, and there may be some other things going around, that they need to worry about, and you take that worry away. So thank you for all you do. And for that, I'm going to give you your certificate. Now, your certificate, let me see, I'll get the other one out, because this is actually a letter there's a copy that is going to also go into your employee file, but that's for you. And then this is their certificate that you received that is Green Spring Shining Star.
But you haven't signed it yet.
Oh, I did not. Okay. Well, I will sign it outside. I signed all the letters and missed that one. But in addition to that, we also have the Shining Star pin that we would like you to wear with your name tag.
Thank you.
And this is a gift card for you to enjoy as a little thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, Krina, you've gotten all this praise, and I, of course, have been on the receiving end of her good attitude and helpfulness. But tell us how you're feeling about that and about this place. I mean, you know.
Well, I've been with Green Spring for 3 years, going into 4. I'm really excited to still be here. I love this place, to see the residents and try to help them every day as I can. And I'm really excited and nervous.
Yeah. Well, this isn't your usual place.
No, it's not. So I'm always behind the phone. So, well, I'm glad I was.
We love to see your smile and the way you greet everyone, and you keep the room really calm, which is very nice.
Thank you.
And we were aware when she was by herself, you know, and it's like, where's everybody? The transition this year has been amazing in the medical center staff. You know, the front desk staff, and she's just been great. I can speak as a resident.
Thank you. I appreciate that. They've been working really hard to change that desk around a little bit and not have everybody huddled out there. They're really in the back, you know, interfacing with the patients, our residents, the doctors. So it may look like there's no one out there, but there's a purpose and thought process behind it.
Yes.
So, but it is a different feel, and we're really excited that this year is to have it, you know, solid, everyone there. So now I have the privilege of talking about Faye. Now, you know, Faye and I share, we are both Leo, so I have to share that with you. We have our little inside, you know, Leo thing that the two of us have. Because, you know, of course, Faye is in town center and our offices are in town center.
Yeah, you're right, like across from her. Yeah.
And she takes care of me all the time. She watches out for me. So she does that for everybody. So, you know, it's not written here, but I am truly grateful that you were there at the front desk, because you make my, you know, I leave in the evening, and sometimes, you know, it's been a busy day, and she just makes my day. You know, I go home, I feel good, like I feel like somebody's there, but she always makes me feel happy. And I appreciate that. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So this is a note that was given by one of our residents' family members. It says, my mother introduced me to Faye because they had developed a special bond of friendship. Every time I see Faye, you know, over the many visits, she lights up at the sight of me. Every time she's welcomed me with tremendous warmth. On the night before Thanksgiving, my father had a neurological incident that required immediate hospitalization. Person says, I flew in, you know, that day, ended up staying for several weeks, you know, to help with, you know, their father and the home and everything. And one afternoon, they saw Faye at the desk and went over to speak to her. They say, as I told her about my father's situation, I got a bit choked up. And immediately Faye stood up from her chair, embraced me. She came around. You have to come around, that counter is so high. Come around and embraced me. And I thanked her for her comfort and for all that she's done over the years to uplift my family. When I think of Faye, I see her bright, smiling face, full of warmth, and I feel the generosity of her spirit. And I think the person could not have done a better job than to really talk about what Faye really does at that desk.
Capturing
She does.
the essence.
She does.
Yeah,
She does.
exactly.
So, you know, you've been here since '99, and we're hoping you will be here for many, many years more. As you know, Krina has been here a couple years. It's just really is a nice opportunity to be able to acknowledge what people do day in and day out. But
Well, I sometimes have fear that she's going to retire. And Faye, you usually work in the evenings, don't you?
Yes, 3 to 11 is my schedule.
And that's your
Yes.
schedule, and you've
Yes,
been doing
ma'am.
that since you came.
Yes,
That's amazing.
and I'll celebrate my completing 19 years on February 10th of this year.
Yeah.
Coming up really quick.
Well, that's terrific. And I guess you could tell some stories too about residents, you know, and who would be shining stars to you in terms of
yes,
the
many.
residents, I'm sure. You've seen so many, especially in Neighborhood 1, the first neighborhood, the people who moved in when the place opened.
Exactly.
And you've seen them move out, some of them, one
Right.
way or the other.
Yeah.
And always there to meet new people. That's
Right.
wonderful.
It's been a blessing to be here. It's just been a joy for me every day to come and share my gifts with Green Spring is where I want to be. It's absolutely a wonderful place to be employed and celebrate life with the residents, and the team that we have are outstanding. And I'm very thankful every day to be a part of Green Spring because it's the best job I ever had in my life.
Wow.
So when I retired from the other job, I came here to give my gifts to Green Spring.
That's
and
wonderful.
it's been very rewarding.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
So Faye, I'm going to hand you your pin for your name tag.
Oh, your pin matches your shirt.
Oh, yeah, how about that?
And then this is a gift card
Thank
for
you
you
so
to
much.
enjoy. Plus this is your certificate and your letter of appreciation, which will be in your file. And I'll go back and sign this.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well, this is always a pleasure to come and do this, especially right now when we have all this sickness going on. And you've been prominent, and Lynn Keefe, in telling us how many more days we're under bans. So it's nice to have you here doing this, Chandra.
It's always a great opportunity to honor people that work, not just because it's a job, but because this is, a calling. As as Faye said, and as Krina knows also, as she's said, is that she loves being here, and it's not. It's not just that it's a job. It's something that they enjoy, being with the residents, being with each other as a team, and just the atmosphere is so. I'm grateful to have them on my team, and I call them mine because I always say they're mine. And it really is wonderful to be able to acknowledge them.
Yeah.
So thank you for giving us that opportunity.
Well, thank you all for being in the studio today, and don't run away, folks. We'll come back in just a minute.